Alright, so I'm recording this at 4K 30 frames per second and F-Log. Okay, F-Log is supposed to be a way of recording everything flat with no contrast, no color. Well, there'll be some color, but it's all faded. And then later in post-production, you adjust everything to what you want it to look like. In other words, if you know how much contrast you would want, how much highlights you want, how much color saturation that you want. But originally it's recorded flat. And as you can see in this demonstration what the flatness looks like, I have here a pack of cigarettes here, and what this would look like after the color correction has been made. So that or maybe even something more colorful like a magazine like I have on the Delicious Dolls. This is what this looks like recording under F-Log, and then later on when I go make my changes that I like, it would be the final cut, and you'd have your, what your standard of what you're looking for. But normally this has, the reason why they do this is because it gives you more control of the shadows and highlights and all that and dynamic range, and therefore giving you a better image. But here's the problem, okay? When you shoot in F-Log on the Fuji X-T3, and that's what I'm shooting it on, you are limited to the lowest ISO of 640. That means you have to have your ISO at a minimum of 640. You can't go under that. So that is giving you kind of like, in a way, less quality video because you're shooting at a high ISO. And you know me, as you've seen some of my videos, that I love to shoot at lowest ISOs possible, and I stress that all the time. So I like to shoot anywhere no lower than, no higher than 320 at any given time, and I always shoot for 200, which is the base ISO on this camera. So I try to always keep it at 200. Sometimes it's not possible and I bring it at 320, but usually I'll get it to 200 because I have plenty of lights and I admit enough lighting to satisfy that. Obviously, if you want to shoot at at high number apertures like f7, f8, which is ideal and gives you the best sharpness for that, then you need quite a bit of lighting if you're going to shoot at 200 ISO. So, but right now I'm shooting at 640 ISO with the F-Log, and this is a test to show you what it looks like and to what the final results look like. Now, posting on YouTube, it's probably not going to matter much, but if you're doing something professional like weddings or music videos or something like that, and the video is actually going to be played on a 50-inch plasma or whatever it is, you're going to notice the quality loss, okay? Especially shooting at 640, you will notice it a little bit. So this is just a little test to see what you guys think and showing you, what's going on. I'm going to come back with this video shooting on the standard mode that I always shoot on. I'll be right back. In this right now, I'm using 320 ISO. And I have my f-stop at 5.6. And so this is using Eterna mode. Basically, no F-Log. This is straight from the camera to the Ninja. And I have the simulation, the cinematic simulation to Eterna, which is something that Fuji offers, which is really great because it does something like F-Log does, okay? Only because it flattens out the highlights, the colors, the contrast. It flattens all that out, but not quite as much. probably about a little bit less than half of that, but it kind of gives the best of both worlds because you can shoot down at the lowest ISOs possible, like 100, 200, whatever you want. And the Eterna simulation looks really, 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 really great. However, in this you'll notice that highlights and shadows and color saturation is more defined. There's the same pack of cigarettes, see how that's redder. So this is more defined, and it's already there. Now you can diminish some of it in post-production, but you have a limit. Also, I wanted to add that a lot of people who do shoot in F-Log, they use LUTs, these files that you apply the LUT and it gives you the output of what the image should look like. I'm not a big fan of using them, pain in the ass, and I use Eterna, and all my videos that I shoot you've seen I'm using Eterna, and I'm able to shoot at very low ISOs, and I get plenty of lighting in my scene, and so there you go. And I'm able to adjust the highlights and saturation, color saturation. If it's a little saturated, I can turn it down. If there's too much shadows, I can bring the shadows down and make things pop out. And I really don't lose any quality loss, and I get what I'm looking for. It's a little bit more difficult with F-Log because you're starting off with hardly anything and you got to build it up. It takes a lot of work to get what you want. You're going to want to save the preset right after it, but sometimes when you shoot one thing, the preset that you save is not going to work well with the other. Well, maybe you were seen outdoors with something, or you were shooting something different, and so everything's different, and so you have to start from scratch again. So this is a little test I wanted to show, shooting between F-Log and standard Eterna. There is another simulation called HLG, and that is kind of almost like F-Log, but not really. It's in between like Eterna and F-Log. And again with that, you are at a minimum ISO of 640. You can't go below 640 ISO. So anything that limits me to an ISO above 320, I'm not really liking too much, and that's my opinion. If you got an opinion, please state it in the comment below. I would like to hear what you think. Excuse me, I'd like to hear what you think, and hopefully this was helpful on this little test, and thank you for watching.